Okay, calling to the meeting to order 2:08, Tuesday, March 17th, 2006, the Dwight School Building Committee. I, myself, Lauren Avron, am present at the table along with Nicole Olson. Online, we have Jeff Galdenzi and Dina Palizzo. Also joining us at the table, Mark Schweitzer, and online, Sel from FPS. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stand so we can do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. I'm going to move right ahead to number 4. To hear, consider, and approve the minutes for March 10th, 2026. Hopefully you all saw that in the backup. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Nicole, anybody else? Could someone second it online?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. That is passed unanimously. Moving on to item number 5, approval of the CMRFQP scoring criteria. Again, that was attached as backup. Wait, I have it. Oh, shoot, it's still labeled. I apologize, guys. It was still labeled as Mill Hill CMRFQ. I don't know why. Is that how you titled it? It's okay.
No, it shouldn't have
No,
been.
I don't know
It should
why.
be on the one I sent on Friday should have the RFP number on it as well.
I'm having some issues with my phone. Could you just, if you have the email, the original email that I sent out, I just want to be sure that it's titled correctly for as what I sent through for everyone else. Can you open it?
Yeah,
I'm seeing the RFP, but this was from the email from the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Should be.
I'm just seeing RFP and it does say Dwight. Elementary school.
oh, I was,
Request for qualifications for construction management services.
apologies.
Nope, you got it right.
Um,
It's okay.
It was right. I was looking at the 310 one, which was the one from last week.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just now getting a message from John that he's not gonna be able to join. Okay, so back to the thank you very much. Apologies for the confusion there. Dwight ES RFQ 2026 final CM scoring. These were the weighted scoring criteria that we discussed at last week's meeting. We haven't changed anything. Mark just cleaned them up for us.
Mhm.
And there is a little note at the bottom. You can see the short listing of firms. We're going to use criteria numbers 1 through 6. And then after the shortlisted firms have been presented, 1 to 6 can be revised and 7 to 9, sorry, will be completed. So after we've got the short list done and we see them in person, then we'll reset. So this is a little bit different. The only reason why I want to point this out is that we had some notes for purchasing after we all went through the A&E services process. And we felt like since we're sort of the first to use the bonfire application through the town, that there was just a couple of, suggestions we had to make it go smoother. Certainly for this time, for the CM round, but also for future building committees who may be following along. And I think this is nice. This is
better.
This is better. And then
I
hopefully,
think one should have nothing to do with the other.
yes. So, I mean, I don't know if we can retroactively go back and change things. I don't think we can because we already voted on them. But we recommended to Adam and Lee that we should try to keep the scores done separately because we had to rescore.
Yeah.
Seems.
Because our number 5 pick from the original short list became one of our top 3 for everybody. So
Yeah,
it would be unfair for them to take the scores from part 1 into part 2.
exactly. So,
I think
Okay.
everybody was okay with that when we left, right?
yep. And then, of course, just like the last time, this is the one part that we wanted to keep the same, is once everything has been completed, 1 through 9, then the fee scores will be released and we can do those. I do think we're gonna have to really coordinate this time around to make sure that everybody puts their scores in before they leave the building
Mhm.
on the day of the presentations, because trying to wrangle everybody and get the scores in on time for the A&E was also a lesson.
Once you walk out of this room, sometimes
I get
life
it.
takes over and.
I get it. So we're gonna make sure that we're here, we lock in our scores after the presentations are done, and it's fine if we want to wait till the end to lock them all in, but rather than kind of having it drag out, I think this will be helpful. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the Dwight Elementary School Early Childhood Center, the RFQ criteria.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Nicole. Second, I have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Peggy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Peggy Maclusa has joined us online, so that brings our total to 5. That is unanimous. 5-0-0 vote. Okay. Number 7 on our agenda, consider, and discuss questions for CM references. This is not something that we included in backup, if you'll recall, during the A&E process. Mark was nice enough to kind of give us a list of 20 questions that he's compiled that they've just used with other building committees. And I think it was originally 20. We narrowed it down to 4. This was just for A&E.
Right.
So for CM, it's a little bit different. Obviously, we're not looking for designs. We're really focused on the construction part of things. So this is, if everybody can see it online, Mark, I think, is sharing his screen here.
Yeah. I was so confused in my
That's
car.
okay. That's all right. So again, this is, the RFQ is out. I know we're gonna do the timeline in a second. But just to remind everybody, this is, once we have the responses from all the CMs, we are going to each be tasked, depending on how many we have, with calling at least 5 of the references for one of the firms. And if we only have a few, I'm putting this out there because I think from what we see right now, and people may log in and decide on the final day that they all want to apply, which.
Mark's Q&A online only consisted of 2 CMs at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I realize it would be repetitive for us all to call the same references over and over and over again. That would be annoying for them. But if we have less than say 7, which there's 7 of us, then maybe we can kind of divide it up differently than we did last time.
Yeah.
We
So
haven't-
far, there's been no messages on the topic on Bonfire. That's what I was checking for.
Yes. Adam did give Mark that update. So I do still think that these questions are imperative, that we agree on them, that we all ask the same ones again, so that we are not, and I understand that sometimes in the course of the conversation, you'll get more information and you might want to ask different questions, but I think we need to agree on a core 4 like we did last time. So this is, am I looking at this?
Yep.
This is the same thing as what we asked the A&E.
Well, no, it's very similar, yes.
Okay, so let's go with number 22. What was your role in the project? How much interaction did you have with the construction manager during the design?
That's the same question, Mark.
How much during the construction closeout phase?
So obviously we could take out how much interaction did you have with the CM? Oh no, I see what you're
Well-
saying. That's never mind.
No, we want to.
We're talking to the
on.
reference,
We're
sorry.
talking to the
Yeah, you-
reference, yeah. It's okay. I think the last one was project manager, maybe?
No, it's architect,
It was
Yeah.
architect.
design team.
I'm not using my correct brain. Sorry.
It's okay.
This question is just to set where the reference is in the scale
It's like
of the project.
the superintendent, are they on the building committee?
Are they an architect?
Are they an architect? Exactly. Okay.
You wanted the same too.
All right, so I think that's fine as it is. It's a 3-part question, more or less. If we could shorten it, we could, but I think all of those
Okay, obviously, yeah, that one.
are, all those questions are important. So I would leave that one untouched. I think that's fine.
Next question, the next question is just making sure that their site was occupied during construction.
Yep, and how is the CM to work with in the daily operations of the school?
Are we leaving 23 in? Because I think that
Yeah,
that's,
I struck it.
why?
Do you recall any of the major subs and do you have any?
Didn't have a choice. It's a little bid. It's public bid, so you don't. They don't. The CM doesn't have a say in what subs they work with.
Oh,
It'll be low bid.
I don't like that one
I
little
don't
bit.
either.
That's
Just the town?
Well, no, that's statewide public bid.
So whatever's the lowest, that's.
Lowest qualified bidder.
Oh, it's qualified. Can we strike someone as qualified if we find out that everybody hates them?
Very, very.
So I could just be like, hey, I'm gonna sell you concrete, and if I have all the right credentials and
Yep.
qualifications, I win. If I'm like,
You could be the biggest jerk and still sell them the concrete.
awesome, can't wait. Great.
That's
Grant, get on this.
that is part of.
Welcome to
public-
my world.
Yes. It's like, I'll be honest, I've never had to deal with this like type of civil construction, so this is new to me, and that is absolutely ridiculous in my eyes, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Oh, the major.
You said it out loud because I was thinking it. I was like, wait, what? No.
I'll be honest with you, I still would love to ask question 23 for one reason. If there's a problem sub coming onto the job site, I would really like to get ahead of it and find out why they didn't like them and what we can do to prevent them from remaking their same mistakes.
Could we still ask it?
I don't see why not.
We can still ask it, we just can't do anything about it. If I have a babysitter and I get her from a friend and her reference is she's great with the kids, but she's not too great at cleaning, then when that woman shows up at my home and be like, hey, by the way, you're responsible for putting the dishes in the sink. Same thing with a sub. I want them to be responsible for putting their dishes in the sink if they're a hot mess and a pig of a human being. I'm gonna let them know.
No.
I know this about you already. Don't do it. That just heated me up. So
I agree.
I'm so
Okay.
annoyed.
So Nicole and I obviously have strong feelings on it.
I have
Anybody
fun.
else?
Sal, do you have an opinion on that, considering like you're kind of?
It doesn't mean that we'll reject the CM
Yeah.
based on their opinions on the subs. We want the dirt.
You just want to know who the troubled subs.
I don't know who smells.
It's it's the CM's job to manage the subcontractors.
But if we're calling their references, if a CM has applied, they've given us their 5 top references, and we call them, we should be able to ask on that specific project, which again, maybe the CM didn't have anything to do with the hiring of the sub. But I feel like it's important information because
I think it's just notes in the back of your head, just like we're
Yeah,
line right now, so I can't say much, but we do have a specific
yeah.
company that we already know we're gonna have to work with, that we were told specific things about, so we know to get a little bit ahead of that and to just.
It's fine. It's fine. Here again, at the end of the day, the CM will try to get ahead of them also, in that they got to manage them. And I'll give you, and this is going into the Wayback Machine, even before I got to Fairfield, when they were doing the 6 large construction projects in the early 2000s. There was one particular subcontractor that Turner Construction really didn't want to work with, and they were low bid and fully qualified, and they went through all the steps, and they actually put on more supervision. And this is not unusual. Mark can tell you that.
Okay.
They'll assign either an engineer or a superintendent, and your job is to stay on, to watch them, make sure that you're getting the tickets signed off, they're where they're supposed to be, and so on and so forth.
Then I think everyone should ask the references these questions. We hold them to ourselves because like we know that shouldn't shine on the construction manager themselves. But if we could take notes of if there is a negative and why, then we can share those notes down the road with the CM.
Or, I mean, back to the CM,
No.
the CM,
Not in a public meeting, but
Yeah.
quietly.
we are the point of this question is to ask how they felt about the subs, but I'd also, if we could add a second part onto it, is how did the CM manage
Oh, good.
those subs, right?
How did you feel the CM did with managing the issues that specific sub brought to the project?
You might say if you're asking the reference question, are you aware of any subcontractors that were underperforming? And
That's a
the
good one.
follow-up question
I'll write
is,
that down.
how effective was the CM in managing those different?
I like the way that he just worded that.
Yeah, the way you said that.
I talk
was-
real
Aware
pretty.
of any subs underperforming on the job. How did CM handle?
Mark,
it?
that's actually, I'm also looking at how Mark is
I don't know.
editing this, is how effective was the CM managing this stuff. And manage.
Okay, yeah, so we could change the front half and, perfect.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, we'll maybe refine that a little bit more, but moving on to question
I have notes for that. You can change
number
it.
24.
Yeah, I like.
Was your site occupied during the construction, and how was the CM to work with and the daily operations of the school? That last part, that feels a little awkward to me. How's the?
Because the and is incorrect. They wouldn't know the daily operations of the school by saying
I
and
know.
you're separating, so it should be, was your site occupied during construction? How was the CM to work with during the daily? How was your CM to? How-
Yeah, take out the and.
The and's definitely gone, because then it separates the two. You would almost, yeah.
Come here, Lexi. Stay where I can see you.
How well did the CM navigate the site during school hours? How was the CM with navigating the site during school hours? So in other words, how did they accompany, because like there are gonna be, your typical construction workday starts between 6 and 7 AM.
Yep.
Buses arrive for Dwight, between 8:40 and 8:50. And the parents start arriving and lining up at God knows what hour. So how did they accommodate the site during
Well, there's
pivotal
no,
hours of school
yeah,
operation?
there's no delivery times. There's.
It is, we're really gonna need, because the way that our pickup and drop off lanes are, we are going to have to share the parents. And okay, just full disclosure, as it is now, and maybe this will change, but I've been here for 6 years. There are a lot of buses because there's no sidewalks in our community. So there are 5, I believe, buses that circulate around, and we cover a lot, all the way from Southport over to the border of Westport, and then all the way to Burr and up to and over actually the Merritt, because to get to some of the locations on the Westport side, they have to kind of go up Reading Road, turn left, go past Patterson, and then loop back around onto Sturgis to get all the kids from.
There's 7 buses.
There's 7 buses.
7 buses.
So lots of buses coming in and out. And in addition to that, we have a fair number of parents who drive.
Mhm.
I would say at least 50.
I think the parents who drive are gonna be a much larger.
Concern because they share unless they plan on widening the entranceway, which I do think one of the companies talked about doing. I think it's a worthwhile pursuit to see if they can do that. But we're still going to have to share a driveway space.
We can get more into this when we're
Yep.
talking with the CM and the layout. It's more good to find out how well because like, I'm already thinking like there might be points where the construction management team has to be told, no, you have to wait on the road until this time period is.
They-
And that's typically how they'll do it. So we won't have to quote unquote share the roadway
No,
with
they're-
them.
If
They're
they'll be-
gonna be told no, but we want to know how did they work how did they work well? Did they play well with others?
There you go.
I think the word you're looking for is coordination.
Thank you. Yes, Peggy, that is a perfect word for it. How well did they coordinate with school officials during
Change management
pivotal?
coordinate.
Yeah,
Yeah. How did the CM coordinate with the daily option?
with the daily operations. Yes, thank you, Peggy.
You're welcome.
Because they should be waiting out on the road or waiting up top on the site during certain hours of the day. Because of, I mean, I know, it's hard to do that, but
Yeah, they're not going. The delivery guys don't want to get in with the buses and the parents as well.
The buses, they wouldn't have to, it's the parents, but the problem with Dwight is the parents even have to double up their car lane because otherwise they're pouring out onto Reading Road. So right now, we already have the parents, it's one lane out and two cars stacked, and there's just one
Next
point
to
where
the
it
tennis courts.
Yeah, there's one point where it really,
Next time.
yeah, that's when the parents start, we literally weave.
Zipper.
Yeah.
So, but again, that can be discussed more at that time.
Yeah.
For now, we just
No,
need to know
the
that they
CM
play
will
well.
be told that no deliveries between drop off and pickup times.
Yes,
Okay.
It doesn't matter,
and coordinate with.
And
Baptist.
they'll actually ask for it. It doesn't mean that it's 100% fail safe though.
So the last two, 25 and 26, exact same as what we asked
Yep.
A&E. I think they're both worthwhile on asking. I'll just read them out loud. Number 25. When there were issues, how were they to work with through those moments? And did you find they took charge and helped resolve or left it up to others to correct the course?
Mhm.
I think that one's excellent. And I remember Nicole making the suggestion to change the beginning of that sentence to win, not if.
Yeah.
And then number 26, would you work with them again? I think those are great. And those are 5 good, solid questions. Does anybody have a suggestion for another one? Yes, Nicole.
Something involving the architect and asking, like in meetings, how well did did they play nice with the architect and the designer?
Okay.
How did they do in the sandbox?
Interact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are definitely some CMs that argue every little step of the way and others that
Sorry, I'm
find
a
solution
solution
instead
for,
of.
there's a question mark. That's a very good addition. Anybody else? Any other suggestions? Okay, that's 6.
I think that's good.
I think that's good too.
Much faster than the last time.
Yes, much less painful.
You
Okay,
can go to the first 22 if you want.
No.
okay, we're not going to vote on this. We're gonna have this put into a separate document. Just like the scoring criteria, and then consider this like a first read at the table, and then next week we will vote on it together.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along. Number 7, to hear, consider, and discuss review of timeline for the CM RFQP process. I just want to preface it real quick. I think this is important for all of us. I remember Mark back in January or February kind of walking us through the A&E services timeline so that we could all be coordinated and mark our calendars and know when we were expected to show up in person. And the same will hold true for this session with the CM services. But I also just kind of want to catch up on where we are with everything for the A&E. So I know you responded via email, but could you just kind of let the rest of the committee know how everything went with the,
Yeah.
do you mind?
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, what with it?
So I know we're just.
Last Friday.
CM, but we're gonna jump back to the A&E scope of survey.
We had
Scope
two
of summary? Wait, what is it called?
scope review meetings.
Scope review, thank you.
We had 2 meetings on Friday. The first one was the CM virtual site visit. We had 2 CMs that showed up for the meeting, ran through all the requirements of the RFQ. Basically went through everything that goes through the portal. Any questions, all the submissions go through. Encourage site visits, encourage them to,
And one of them did reach out and wanted to coordinate and
yeah,
come.
one of them was there today to look at bus operations, pick up and drop off.
Are we allowed to speak on to who that was? Are you like, can you say a name out loud?
It was Cobain.
Okay, good to know. Just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. They've been on the ball.
So that went well. The other one was the scope review meeting with Tecton. We had myself, Chuck Warrington, Adam Tulin, and Sal Morbido on the call with Tecton. They brought Jeff Wisniewski, Justin, and Jennifer.
Jeff, Justin, and Jennifer.
Correct. Two of them were
Jennifer was
at the presentation. Jennifer,
Langen?
no, Jennifer is Tecton.
She is Tecton. Be their interior person? I'm trying to remember. I remember Jeff and Justin.
I would have to
'cause they
check.
did a lot of the.
I don't think Jennifer was at the presentation,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly.
Okay, okay.
Ran through the scope. The biggest thing, they have everything that we, on there, the 3 conceptual designs, the carrying one to schematic, and then carrying everything through. The biggest thing that they said they didn't have, which we agreed with, was any of the geothermal test wells, if that was part of it. We also included that they don't have test pits as well. Digging the test pits, they have witnessing and doing the inspection on the test pits, but they don't have digging. So
So they were saying that the town needs to, in other words, foot the bill for those to test.
yep. And that's typically how
yeah.
it is done. Typically with test pits, we get DPW up there to dig the test pit. The geothermal test wells will be done by a separate, would be done by a test driller, or driller that would do the actual.
We did have soil borings done during the feasibility study. Do those not, totally different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Geothermal would be mostly test for thermal conductivity. The soil boring's just what's there.
Okay.
So those were the 2 meetings on last Friday, which were turned out very well. We have, just to get into the timeline, we issued the CMRFQ on the Wednesday, the 4th. We had the virtual tour on the 13th. We have questions due at an hour and a half ago today. And our addendum is due, or the responses will be posted to Bonfire by the 19th.
There were no questions, so we're good there.
Correct. Well, yeah. Unless they came in.
Can you just remind me, because I kind of remember this coming up with the addendum and what was the issue, the fee proposal form, right? Is that when, on the 19th, when anything like that would come up, right from the town, like they wanted to adjust something? Okay, just wanted to make sure that we coordinated
If
everybody.
there's any changes with the RFQs, it is basically, it's all spelled out in the RFQ of what the submission entails. And it does not include the proposal form or anything we give them. That'll be for the RFP, where we'll give them the proposal form that they will need to fill out.
Okay,
So after this week, we have the CM qualifications due next Thursday. So, and how we have it set up is we have essentially the 12 days between the 26th and the 7th, which is our next building committee meet, or should say the next. We have
31st.
We have qualifications due on the Thursday, the 26th.
Is that when we call references?
Yes. That next week, from the 27th through this 6th is when we call references.
Okay, so then I'll be contacting, I'll let everybody know on my Friday email. I'll do it separately, obviously, from the agendas, but wait, you guys, purchasing has to make sure that they're qualified and everything is good, right, before
they go through
we
and
go through the reference,
they'll go through and release the package.
but it shouldn't be difficult, right? Like I should be able to do it on Friday.
At the latest.
Okay, so just expect that you will get an email from me. I know you get your weekly email on Friday from me, but you will also be getting an additional just to you, just like I did the last time. And I'll copy Nicole on it. If we have multiple, not that we will, but if we
That's why
have.
my hand was raised.
I will make sure that we coordinate who gets what company. To call for references, and we'll have obviously voted on the reference questions at that point.
Question to Mark.
Yep.
How often at this stage, because are we expecting more than just the two? Like realistically,
Well, yeah, because we're not gonna need shortlist if we do that, but we should still call for references.
we're still gonna call for references and we can discuss it, but we're not gonna need a week and a half to do it if it's just you taking one and I'm taking the other. I would take, I mean, obviously, because it would be, I think, a conflict of interest for me to do the O and G ones. I can decipher them regularly, but I think keeping me apart from that is a smart move.
We can speed this up.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, like, in your past history, with this few people attending your virtual meeting, with no questions being asked online or on Bonfire.
Right.
I mean,
And they don't need to like give us a whole pitch book like the architects did.
They
so,
will. They'll
they will?
do a presentation
Oh, yeah.
on it. They'll do the pitch book. Because I want them,
yeah,
I
we.
want them working on the
the
logistics
numbers
as
and
well.
Logistics.
Okay,
See, their pitch book would be smart. I mean,
they're gonna give us numbers.
They'll give us general conditions, general requirements.
Okay.
They
do you
won't.
think we're gonna get more than the two?
There is a third that pulled plans, but never heard of them, and they're out of New York, so
Okay,
don't know.
don't know. Okay, so possibly three.
I mean, it's possible that another firm might jump in.
Mhm.
Haven't seen it. We'll see it on, you know.
Yeah.
What?
So you said the 26th is when they're due?
26th, yeah.
Okay, so 9 more days.
It'll, yeah.
Just
If
curious.
we had the weekend, if it was in the ideal situation, we only have a few. We had that weekend and then we meet,
Tuesday.
The following Tuesday.
First.
we can shortlist then.
I
That would be
mean, it
great.
might be, like you said, it might be just like what happened with the CMs. It was shortlisted for us.
You mean PMO?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Through the-
Okay, so then, this is great. So then by March 31st, hopefully,
Yep.
we will have an idea of, what our shortlist will be.
What day would we be bringing them in for meeting?
If we kept to the same schedule.
Yeah.
We'd be bringing them in through spring recess.
We can't do that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be in it.
Well, that's,
And I don't wanna leave that up to Nicole. I don't know
I
where
mean,
you're going.
that's-
No. I would wait. I would give them the spring break. And obviously, they're not in Fairfield. May have different breaks. Hopefully, they don't have the following. I don't know what they
Yeah,
could do.
it's way too soon to bring them in.
I think it would be rushing it to do it the week of the sixth, seventh, eighth, and
Yeah,
ninth.
yeah.
But
the 20th
Oh,
is
yeah.
a little late.
I know, it's.
Is-
it does
is-
stink,
is-
but-
is late. No, 20th is,
dial in from wherever I am.
no, I mean, originally we have it set for the 21st.
I mean, I think if it's only two, would it be rude to give them till the 7th? I mean, they've had.
Oh, a week.
They would balk at that.
They would
because
balk
it-
at that,
yeah,
okay.
Because we don't issue the RFP till that Wednesday, and we're looking for numbers by the 6th would be, I mean, it can,
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's stick to this original schedule for now of
I mean, it-
in on the 21st. So everyone announcement, April 21st, please mark your calendars.
Yeah.
That is our tentative, but most likely to be the definite date for the CM interviews in person. Okay.
That's the last long day meeting.
And just real quick, Mark, if you could just back up, and I know I'm overlapping A&E and C&M now, but I see you have marked the two Board of Selectmen meetings. So are we still hoping that the
yes,
April 1st one will be
Yeah.
when we get
Uh,
approval?
I was gonna do the different timeline.
Okay.
Do that as a different timeline.
Okay.
Then the CM interview, if we have the CM interviews on the 21st, obviously, we're not catching the 22nd. We are possible to catch the 6th of May,
Okay,
but definitely the 20th of May, which puts us basically right in the middle of schematic design, which is kind of where we need them, the CM.
okay.
That being said, let's go back to architects have been selected.
Mhm.
Next Thursday, the 26th, we need to provide the backup for the BOS meeting for the BOS to approve Tecton on the 1st.
Okay. Do you need me here for that?
No.
Okay. Does Adam go?
Ideally, I mean, I have this schematic design kickoff for the 2nd. It'll be it'll be somewhere between the 2nd and the 10th is what I'm thinking.
Just tell me what I need to make it.
I'm just worried. So.
No, then I go, that's me.
Okay.
You got it.
So I understand the schematic design kickoff is just,
Design, pull the design team in, basically bring them in, meet the players, start.
but not with the building committee.
Not full commit, no, not full committee.
A few of us. So Dwight
If you wanted to attend, yes,
would like to. But no, we can't have 4 of us.
correct.
Okay. All right.
Design kickoff is the 2nd?
Tentative, that's kind of on there.
Is that
for-
Easter weekend?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the next day is Good Friday.
Okay. Um. And then, okay, sorry to jump back, but for the CMs. Can I have you move up in April so I can see?
Oh, down.
Sorry, down. All right, so if we have them in on the 21st. For interviews, then we complete our scoring that day, ideally.
Yep.
Then we could have. Yes,
Well, I'm just wondering, because I know that this is all tentative until the 26th when their stuff is due. But then we're saying we're not calling the short list until the 7th.
Not necessarily.
no, I think we could bump that up to the
Yeah.
31st.
Okay, yeah,
That's the-
because if,
but then
if
it's
there's
a-
only 2 of them, then we have our answer and we're gonna ask them to come in, and then could we potentially bump that to the 7th?
No.
Because now we're gaining that whole
Yeah, because
week.
he was saying that you already asked, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
Well,
It's
Well,
okay.
we'll have-
So the
we'll
7th is
have to-
way too quick
Yeah.
for them
we
to,
would move this up to here, and then we'd issue we'd issue the CM RFP on April 1st. And you'd look for them to provide numbers.
Right now, we're giving them 2
Three.
weeks.
We're giving them 2 weeks.
Okay.
I think it might help her if we put the shortlist CMs up on the
We'd
31st.
literally be losing 2 days. That's it. If on the 26th, we're told there's only 2, then
Yes.
boom.
Yep.
Okay, you 2 win, or even 3. Okay, this is it, like that's all of them.
Then we have to do our reference.
Then we
questions.
do our reference
On
questions, which is
Tuesday.
fine, but the short list is done. We're gonna bring those questions back to talk about. But if we bring them in on the 7th of April,
I see what she's saying.
then we're only really taking away 2 working days from them.
You just think that's too rushed?
That's 12, that's 8 working days is, I mean, can we ask them? I'm just trying to move I'm trying to tip this
understand.
along.
I think though, to Mark's original point, if we find out on the 26th, we do all of our questions, then we meet on the 31st and we say, okay, here's what we found out, right? We do our executive session, we talk about the feedback that we got from their references, and then we construct our short list that day. You're saying a week from that time, when we construct our short list and their RFP is released, that a week later we bring them all in?
No, I'm saying that if the short list is constructed for us because only 2 people bid, then we could still do our reference calls while they're prepping for a meeting, and that only removes 2 days, and that puts us on the 7th.
Now
We have to check with purchasing if you have to vote on that short list, even though it's not.
Could we do an emergency meeting on Friday and everybody say yes to the 2 that were being forced down our throats and save ourselves almost 2 weeks and losing almost a month in front of
Yeah,
Board of Selectmen?
that's true.
It,
That's all very good.
These are the moments that the whole town is looking for, where they're like, what are you doing to make
You
this go
wasted a month.
faster? Why did you waste a
Months of-
month?
it's not gonna,
Yeah.
it's not gonna speed anything up, because when they come in mid-May, they really have nothing to do till the end of schematic design.
Okay, well, then that answers, then it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
What matters is that we keep our consistent weekly meetings because
Yeah.
as soon as the Board of Selectmen votes the A&E, Tecton through, they're gonna be sitting in with us and
Yeah.
then it's like,
And
go.
it's like, okay, so but you're saying this really doesn't matter until schematic, they really don't have like a need to be at the table, then I don't care. You know me, I'm just like, why are we?
I hear you. I'm glad she asked.
Yeah.
And it does seem like a long drag,
It's a long drag, yeah.
in between when we shortlist and when they come in. But, it will give them.
It's actually the same time we gave the architects.
But to me, the architects had a lot more to do.
Yes.
100%, the architects had way more to do to wow us. There was 14 of them shortlisted to 5. That when you have A versus B, no offense, but it gets a little easier to get your presentation ready. You're like, all right, we just have to put our best foot forward and be done. You're not like, hey, we know what that guy's gonna do and that guy's gonna do and that one. How do we? They play a strategic game in these meetings. So once they know who they're up against, they're gonna know what's the best plan to go forward. When you're only up against one person, you only have to plan one strategy. It takes a lot less time than if you have 5 competitors where you go back and say, they're known for this, we combat it that way, you know?
Right.
I'm glad you asked. And I think it was worth it, the
Worth it.
ask. I think, this kind of gives us a good
Okay.
indication where we stand. So again, everybody,
CM review is still April
CM
21st.
PM reviews, April 21st. That is the day that we all need to be here in person.
Anybody already have conflicting issues with that date?
Okay. Let me know in advance. But if anybody has any and you know of it, we'd appreciate knowing as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Well, they can be,
What, they could be online?
well, no, if it's the anticipated 2 or 3, it can be done in the afternoon. You don't have to start no more.
Oh, true.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So, but if there's somebody who's already, in Italy, please speak up now or forever hold your
Yes.
peace.
And actually, now that we know this date, I'm gonna go ahead and coordinate with the town too, to make
Yeah, to
sure
get the room.
that in case we did need,
Yep.
more time, that we have the.
I mean, do we
Because
get,
having to split the day in between the 2 rooms was
Yeah.
a little bit of a.
I mean-
difficult logistically.
between this room or 501?
Oh, we did want 501 last time. All right, I'm gonna try for that.
Yeah, see if you can get
Much
that.
larger.
Larger space and you're not gonna have to move because we already know that this room is taken, but might be the same day that this one's taken at 2:00 every.
Okay. All right, so we'll figure that out. Or- Miriam.
I have her email. I got met her in person once or twice.
I bring her candies now. Because I spent so much time on the phone with her while I was PTA president. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to agenda item number 8, open board discussion. Does anybody have anything? Jeff actually brought to our attention 3 really good points. It's not necessarily up for discussion right now, but I encourage any of you, if you are thinking ahead and you have something that you think is worth considering, Jeff had 3 individual emails to Nicole and I this week that I found fascinating that he was just thinking that far ahead. Again, we don't have to discuss them here, but they were definitely worthwhile. So if anybody has anything that they think of that, hey, we should be thinking outside the box right now or looking ahead, please, of course, always bring them up in the meeting, but also feel free to email us. Does anybody have anything?
Do you want to point out what Chuck's post?
From a,
I'll mention it. Jeff, do you want to?
to tell?
I don't know if I remember them all.
One was
Uh,
the Dwight
one was-
Dragon.
Yeah, so if the committee's interested in doing a dragon statue, I was suggesting that we start looking for solicitations of donations to pay for that from the school, from the school
Yeah.
population.
And my only pushback there was that the PTA has already been through a lot right now in the last year. They're still wrapping their heads around the fact that this is really happening. And last year was a bit traumatic. I think they're all excited I think this would be one more thing to get them excited about, but I just knowing the asks that are already coming this time of year, I think we might want to just pause and wait until we get into either a new school year.
But Jeff's right to start thinking about donation.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
a good time would be.
I
the
defer, as I
unveiling of
said,
the
you,
final
I defer to
sticker.
Lauren and Nicole as parents of Dwight. You guys have much, much more on the pulse of what's going on there and the timing. And I know people are going to graduate out, and how do you?
Right, well, it's also
you
more
make
like the
that?
PTA changes year to year,
Sure.
right?
Yep,
Sometimes you'll have a
exactly.
president, like I stayed for 2 years, but the current president is at the end for 2 years. And so I know we're gonna have a new board next year. So it might be worth just waiting until we have.
Don't
But
disagree.
you bringing it up gave me an
It's
idea of
fantastic.
when to do it and when to stick my hand out. Oliver over here. I think once we have a drawing, a schematic from the architects and it's hanging up on the board to then have an overlay of where the
It'll build
statue
a
could go, the
section.
size and the grandeur, and I can get the estimate from some of my old masonry connections and see about how much for them to
Yeah.
have that visual of here's the school with the Dwight Dragon in front of it. Visuals always help really bring it to life for people. And then comes the thermometer. And we'll decide what's allowed also. We have to check with the town what types of donations are allowed to come in and how much and things of that nature.
Also, I want to be really careful that we make sure that we limit it to like a small project, something like this, because I don't want the understanding to be, again, just goes back to your,
Check with the town.
we have to check with the town. We don't want it to appear that my kids are getting a new school plus all these other, fun toys, bells and whistles. I don't know. I just like a cool scoreboard or something like that. Like we have to make sure that what we're getting is in line with what every other school already has or could.
And this is where you also check in and see, Mark did mention that sometimes these types of things are donated by
Yeah.
people. So, and that's where you kind of skate that whole, why did Dwight get everything so lovely? Oh, they're the rich kids in town and it has nothing to do with that. Okay, number 2, Mark mentioned.
So to Jeff, I thought in it, I did not actually reach out to Angelus because I believe it's Sal who would know all this information. Jeff, you asked about the solar panels and the contracts. You would like.
Yeah, one of the things that just what's come up in multiple conversations so far, right, is I think it's more or less, I think, safe to assume that we're looking at solar panels in the new school as part of the project. There's solar panels on the existing school. The question we need to understand, I think from an architectural standpoint, we need to understand, what are we doing with those old panels? Are we transferring them or are we replacing them? And what is
we haven't even
old?
we haven't started that discussion yet, and that'll come up during design. The way that it's an interesting one. I believe the Connecticut Green Bank owns the system presently. It passes through different hands, so it's a power purchase agreement. There's an entity that owns the panels and has a contractual responsibility to maintain them. What we're required to do, we being the town of Fairfield and Board of Ed and everybody, is to allow them access to do that and to buy the power that it produces at a set rate. There's an early termination clause in the contract because it's a 20-year contract. I'm not sure whether it could be renegotiated. That's always a possibility. It is a contract. But at this point, right now it's a 10-year-old system. So it's already got 5% degradation. So I'm not sure if it would be more beneficial to number one, we don't know how much roof area we'll have. It can end up being a very roof efficient. You might end up with less roofing than you have right now that we're sitting on. We have a 1-story building that is 41,000 square feet. We have a multi-story building might have less roofing than we have presently. So you might not be able to do that one for one, especially given the amount of rooftop equipment that you'll probably end up with in a brand new, modern, fully air conditioned building. So, net, you might not have enough roof area to do it. So at the end, it might be uh, best thing to do is just, pay the penalty, end the system as it is, and then develop some other kind of PPA.
Like over the parking lot, a couple of the companies had sort of
Yeah,
suggested.
I mean,
Yes.
the canopies in the parking lot, and here again, it comes in through design. I'm sure that we can put out early on. There were 3 different companies that did solar projects in Fairfield, and Dwight was a one-off. It was called American Solar that ended up being bought by, I
Had a
can't
big
even
green thing.
remember, but it doesn't matter because it got bought up again. There's companies out there, but the way that we contract it, we don't own the systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We like
we
lease
might
them?
design to allow them to be there. Here again, in the evaluation, if the way to get solar there is to do canopy structures, that would be something that you would want to do concurrent with the constructions of the parking lot. So you're not tearing up brand new pavement to put in conduits, to put in foundations, so on and so forth. So it's good that everybody's thinking about it, but it's something that needs to be an evaluation point during the design, and then
Yeah, so
investigate
this
it.
sounds like this would come after we decide the overall design of the school, and once we know the square footage of the roof, after that is all decided, that's when it would be you who would take over the conversation with the solar panel people, or is it someone else?
Well, I'll be in the design meetings talking.
Yeah.
I'll bring in the appropriate people at the appropriate time,
At the appropriate, okay, so we, yeah.
and we'll figure out where we want to go from there. At the end of the day, we might net out that we have less square footage of roof than we have now, and a lot of it might be not usable for PV because of cast shadows.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
We're
don't- yeah. That's what I'm saying. So this is a conversation better to dive back into after. I don't think that the school design should be contingent on the roof.
No,
So maybe once
absolutely
we
not.
all decide what school we're picking, then we could bring in the experts to tell us what's possible with the solar.
Absolutely.
Well,
Okay,
my
cool.
questions are in regard to when exactly does the contract end? What is the buyout amount? What is the
Oh,
square footage of solar?
I could get you that.
That's all I'm looking for. All I was asking for
Oh,
some of
okay.
the empirical data around the existing contract, just so we have that and we understand it. I hear everything you're saying and I totally agree. And yeah, there's a lot
I'll look
of
up the contract and get it to Mark so he can distribute it to you folks.
perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sal.
Yep, not a problem.
And again, Jeff, thank you for thinking ahead. And the last one, and maybe Sal, you would be able to give some insight into this too, but Jeff, I had a really forward-thinking idea of checking with the tree warden about if there's any trees that need to be saved on the property. I know of at least one dedication tree in front of the building. But and we're probably not to the stage yet where we need to start coordinating that, but with any schematic design.
Usually what happens with dedication trees is, truthfully, I'm not sure what it was dedicated to.
Retired
Sometimes it's
secretary.
just a matter of saving the plaque because the tree ended up dying. Something like this, we would have to look at if
It's
it's
still a
doable,
sapling.
relocating it.
Yeah, it's still a sapling. It's pretty small.
Yeah. So, there, up to a certain size, you can move the trees. It gets, the bigger it gets, the harder it is. And
I was gonna say, I mean, this might have been, this is one of those things where I was thinking we're jumping too far ahead again. However, if it's still a
Yeah.
sapling and it means something, then perhaps we relocate it now to an area that we know isn't going to be a parking lot soon. Cause the younger it is, you can have it repotted and set aside.
It's right in front of the existing site, which won't be touched until everything is said and
But
done.
it'll cost more money to get it out then. Is my
Right.
opinion. So if we
If you ask me
relocate
where,
it somewhere now.
if you asked me where would be a spot on that it would be safe to move it to, I have
Mhm.
no idea.
Well,
Haven't
no,
seen
that's,
it at all.
that's the other
Tennis
problem.
courts.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
over by the
we
tennis
cross that
courts,
bridge
right?
when
I
we
know
come
we're
to it.
trying not to touch,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah.
so that's one tree that I know of, and I
Okay.
believe I heard from past president that there was a bit of a stink with the town. You're not supposed to plant trees without asking the town. I think we did it anyway. Not supposed to put plaques out. There was a whole bunch of things that happened to get that tree there, but it does mean a lot to who the family of who it was dedicated to. So I'd like to hang on to that, but I know that it's a really large property with a lot of beautiful trees. So if this is something that the town regularly does on sites and coordinates with the tree warden, at what stage, I don't know, but I
Well-
just thought it was great of Jeff to think of it.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff would get involved with us relocating a sapling.
I'm not saying Jeff, what I'm saying, he thought
No,
about
the tree
connecting us with
Jeff's the tree warden's name.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
You said Jeff.
that's who I thought you were talking about, Jeff the tree warden.
No, Jeff Galdenzi here.
Oh,
on
I'm
the-
sorry. I
on the
thought you were
board is
talking
the one
about
who
Jeff
thought of
Linder.
it. Just
I'm
random
s-
coincidence, they're both named Jeff. So
I'm
this once
sorry.
again becomes something that once we have the final, here's what the building is, here is the positioning, then we should bring this back up at that point in time. And the sooner the trees are dug up, the less costly it is.
Yeah, it's,
My issue is more around an arborist in the standpoint of, are there any trees on property that the BOE or the town would want to save because they're 80 years old of a 250-year-old tree, something. There's that one big tree by the shaded area where those tables are.
Yes, I was
that
thinking
looks
that
old and
too.
mature. Is that,
Yeah.
but is that an end of life already? And even though it looks majestic, it's probably going to die in 2 years anyways. So just to
That's why
give
the
us
trees fall
options
before
so that
the
if
trees
the
die.
architect decides that the right place to put a building is X and X has a tree, we at least understand that tree's worthless anyways.
right.
That
And
was
that's
sort of
part
just
of
more
the initial
holistic.
evaluation when the architect, when all the designers are going through, that are there, is this the tree that the apple fell and hit Newton on the head? That kind of thing. Are there historic trees or trees that have special relevance? And that's all determined during the
Well, so
design
Sal,
process.
I know, for instance, at Greenfield Hill Church, which is just around the corner, and again, we are up in Greenfield Hill, which is like a very, historic part of town. There is the central historic area right around the
Mhm.
church, right? And there's lots of protected trees. Those dogwood
Yeah.
trees, can't touch them. The big
Yeah.
elm in the center of that island, right between the church and the church school. Again,
Yep.
super protected, and they have signs up everywhere. There's a Japanese maple right in front of the church school. Kids can't
Uh-huh.
climb on it. You can't touch it.
So let's just find
Right.
out if any of those trees exist on this property.
Yeah, we're not in Greenfield historic area.
True. I'm
So
just
that
saying,
that
I
doesn't
know
apply.
some
I
people
don't
feel.
think we have any dogwoods trees up there per se.
I actually think the
but-
one that was planted in the front, the sapling, is a dogwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
Other,
might-
I might
I'm
not have
guessing
seen-
that this building in 1961, they leveled that entire hillside of trees. So the chances of there now only 60 years later being some special tree that we're not supposed to touch is non-existent.
you
The field, we're
end
already
up,
cleared.
and it's one of those things you don't know what. I mean, when we did Stratfield Elementary back in, it was 20 years ago. There was a tree on the site that was slated to come down. I'm overstating it. You had the people that chained themselves and were crying this tree. George Washington carved his initials in there. Lafayette marched his troops by it. And it turned out at the end of the day that the tree was sick. It was hollow, and it was actually 40 years old.
Yeah.
And there was quite the emotional
There's actually issues
discord
all over
over
our
this-
town because we
over
let the
this
trees
tree that
become
had to
too
come
dense
down.
by not cutting enough down, and now they're all hollow on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All-
it's
all
part
good
of the
points.
process.
And part of the process worth noting, but I do like the thinking ahead. So in that spirit, Jeff, thank you very much. Is there any other open board discussion? If not, I'd like to move to number 9.
One more quick scope question.
Yeah.
There's no discussion necessary at this point, but the perimeter fence at the property is in repair and in need of repair at places. I don't know I don't know if that's considered in scope or not.
Are you talking about along the, I'm gonna
The
say it's
entire property,
west side?
the property, sort of the whole property is more or less, except for the front, is more or less surrounded by a 6-foot old metal
Deer fence.
fence. Okay,
Well, okay, so I know the one, if you're talking about to the rear of the school, right, between like the neighboring houses.
on the 3 sides, yeah,
On the
so
three,
it's.
right, and then along the back of the field, there's deer
Mhm,
fence
that same
there.
fence continues, and then it comes all the way down
All
the
the way down to
hill,
the
the
road.
driveway, all the way down to the tennis courts and beyond on that
Back
side.
up to the road. It's a deer fence.
It's a deer, I know there's the low stone wall, I don't think I realized that there was a deer
Mm.
fence beyond that.
It's actually in front of it's in front of the stone wall by about 10 to 12 feet in most places. So the stone walls are actually, in most cases, the stone walls are behind the fence. So I assume that I don't know what, I
Have to
didn't
do a proper
cross-reference to see what modifies the property. I just, from a scoping perspective, it's a lot of fence, so it's a lot of money. So we need to
Yeah.
determine if it's just more of a scoping question.
Sally, you wouldn't happen to know when those fences were installed, the deer fences?
So.
I'm sorry. I was-
Do you happen to know when the deer fences were installed around the 3-side perimeter of Dwight to protect?
I would
the
would assume that they're concurrent with the construction of the building back in the early 60s.
Me too.
And
Oh, I didn't even know that they had
maintained
deer
over the
fences
years.
in the early 60s. Good for them. All right.
I will
I think
say,
it's more
and-
keep kids in than keep deer out.
No,
Yeah.
the reason it's 6 feet tall, it is a deer fence, and my guess is most of the towns do install those to prevent literally the deer from crapping all over the field, such as the soccer field, the baseball field, and also their hoof marks, and they tend to dig to eat the grub worms, so they ruin playground fields. So those aren't in so much as a safety precaution for the kids as it is just to protect the towns.
It's not unusual that we have fencing at the boundaries of our properties. I
Yeah.
mean, we have it at Osborne Hill, and there's no forest per se. It's actually surrounded by all houses, but we have,
Well, that's
it's one of those things. We line our properties for the most part.
Some similar along those lines, Jeff, I'm glad you brought it up right now. I mean, it's been one of the banes of my existence when I was PTA president. I felt like I had to do regular maintenance checks for just the property itself. We've had some real issues with overgrown vines and weeds that go up on the electrical wires. We had 2 days off in 2024, 2025 because those weeds led to some kind of complication and we lost power at the school. And they were really inconvenient at the time they happened. So, and multiple emails had to be sent from me, from other PTA members until things were addressed, whether it's through the town or Sal or Angelus. But, you know, I think Dwight has been left on its own and we are in the middle of a forest. So I get it.
Well, the question becomes, oh, Peggy has her hand raised.
Yes. I'm just saying, I think it's with real quick, I just want to wrap up my thought. With this project taking place, it's worth it, to Jeff's point, for us to look around and see what needs to be repaired and what the town is willing to kind of put the bill for and help us so that we've got a nice, you know, refurbished area and we're not paying extra out of our budget to cover those basic things that should already be covered. Yes, Peggy.
You're on mute, Peggy.
Okay. The scope of the work and what the money's been approved for is new construction. So when it comes to existing to remain materials, that is a maintenance issue and will not be covered under the scope of work per the contract.
Exactly.
Okay, so we do not do maintenance on the existing materials. Okay,
So as a building committee, you're saying we should not even be having this discussion?
correct. It becomes a Board of Ed
Okay.
maintenance and not part of our scope.
All right, I know where to send my emails.
On paper, yeah.
Correct me
Okay.
if I'm wrong, Mark. I mean, that's the way I see it.
No,
Peggy, I was gonna make the same remark when I saw your hand up, and I know because we sit here personally, we get to do a lot of talking, and sometimes we don't always look up and see the hand, so
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Thank you. Okay, so that's Jeff, point well taken though, on the fencing. It's worth an ask or an email to,
These were 4 great points, Jeff.
yeah, to Board of Ed, if that's where it.
And just to remind everybody how Jeff came up with all these, I think it's super great that you went and walked the property. I think that seeing it all brings it all to the forefront, and you notice things that you wouldn't if you don't spend time out there.
And actually, I would like to go ahead and offer, I'm more than happy because I've got, a total of 6 years up there now under my belt. I'll have 9 by the time this project is done. If anybody wants a personal tour on the weekend and just wants to check it out and know about things at least outside the building, I can, or anything to do with a school day, I'm more than happy to take you around and show you everything.
And the last friendly reminder, if you do decide to go walk the property and it does happen to be the school day, you should probably call ahead. Otherwise, they might call the police on you for a stranger wandering a school property.
There you go.
Yeah, and we're reminded of that during Mark's meeting. Call ahead, let someone know, introduce yourself to the security police officer if they're sitting out front.
Yeah.
Explain to them why you are wandering a property with school children present.
Okay. But again, feel free if you want a personal tour, I can do it on the weekends. All right, number 9, public comment. I see we have Mary joining us. If anybody has any public comment, now would be the time. Okay, it is 3:14. I'm going to motion to adjourn our meeting. Our next regular meeting will be 3:24. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nicole. All those in favor?
Aye.
I will see everyone here next week on the 24th. Thank you so much for your time.